welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing another reading vlog, but more subdued, I guess is the word I'd use, because there's only 3 books in this TBR. It's also like 8 o'clock at night, so I'm going to make this kind of brief, make this quick. If you haven't noticed, I have some new equipment. Well, it's not really new, but my fiance has allowed me to use his camera instead of my phone. So no more accidentally calling emergency services. And say I have an audiobook, I can show it without showing a screenshot, because I do think that's a little bit tacky. I also have a little itty bitty book haul. I say book haul, it's one book. We were in the got a new book impromptu, and it is Home is Where the Bodies Are. I'm gonna save this for September, October. It is a thriller for people who don't know what this one is about. These 3 sisters come home after a long time after their mother has passed. They find a videotape that includes their father covered in blood and a dead body, and a pact to never speak of it. So they basically have to figure out what happened or just forget it happened. It should be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. So there's my little mini book haul. And now to my TBR. One of the reasons I wanted to start a vlog now is because I'm kind of antsy to start this beauty. This is The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have actually read the other 2 books in The Lord of the Rings. I also read The Hobbit last year. So this is actually the final book in the series, or the final part of the book, considering Tolkien originally wanted this in one big volume. And they have those really big volumes now, but these little pocket sizes are just smaller chunks and just easier for me to read. I just prefer the smaller, bite-sized pocket sizes over like the full book. I will hopefully get like a full big volume at some point. Not now is not that time. I think this is just more digestible for me personally. But the best part is, and I've been doing this with all of the Lord of the Rings books, is I do it kind of like in a hybrid medium sort of thing, where when I want to, I read this physically in the book, but if I want to continue to read it and say I'm at work or I just don't have the book with me, I have it on Audible. The only problem with Audible is I do not have a percentage on how far I am through. So that's a little annoying, but if I use Spotify, I will very much run out of hours I can listen, because I'm only allowed 15 hours a month. But so I will listen to this one on Audible as well. The second book on this week's TBR is Soundings. This is when I went in the library in my last vlog. It's about a woman who is a journalist, and she's commenting on climate change in Alaska, and she suddenly hits poverty, and she's in a women's shelter with her toddler, and she follows the migration of the gray whales and then back again to the family that took her in. And now that I've actually read the synopsis, this sounds so much more interesting than I was initially thinking, because it's a mix of science and a memoir, and I do think this will be a really interesting nonfiction. I love nonfictions, I love memoirs, and I also love whales. So this will be a good, fun read for me, and may read more along the lines of Soul of an Octopus. I loved that book so much I got my own copy. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm hoping it's a 5-star, because I love stuff like this. And the last one is The Whale They Call Killer by Eric Hoyt. I am obsessed with orcas, if you cannot tell by my shirt. And this is actually an older book. It was actually published in 1981. So they're not very far into the research when this was released. So this should be a very interesting look into what they knew about these orcas at the time, because they were very feared in like the 60s and the 70s. So I think this will be an interesting look into these animals, because even in the synopsis, it says they've been considered too dangerous to approach closely in the wild. Actually not too terribly dangerous to humans. So I think this will be a really interesting read because I'm very much used to the newer ones like Orca, of Orcas and Men, Beneath the Surface. And I know I said I wanted to also read Death at SeaWorld, but I don't know if I really want to bother with it since I've already read Beneath the Surface, and I'm like, I'm just going to get the same story as that or Blackfish. But that is this is my TBR for this week. I don't think it's too crazy. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'll finish this in a week. This is very dense. It's going to take me some time to fully kind of grasp what's going on. I will say this before I go. The more I read of the books, the more I love Samwise. I think it was Pippin used to be my favorite character when I'd only seen the movies, and I think it's because he was a funny character in a very serious situation. That, and I can listen to Billy Boyd talk literally all day. But I did love Sam from the movies, but the more I read the books, the more I just adore Sam entirely as a character, and I cannot wait to finish this series. Oh my gosh, and say I have read these books, these absolute classics in fantasy, so I'm looking forward to this. This may take me some time. I'm already a slow enough reader, so this one may take me a little time. I don't see how getting through these will take very long. This one's like less than 200 pages unless you count the appendices, which I probably need to look into anyway. This one is 77 pages. So they're not too terribly long. And what's really cool, has a map. Like, how many nonfiction books do you know that have maps? I'm actually surprised by how many pictures are in nonfiction books, actually. Like, look at these gorgeous photographs. So I'm looking forward to this vlog. I'll probably be on the shorter end. I didn't realize my vlog from last week was going to be 45 minutes, and I tried to cut it down. So hopefully with this I can also learn how to do this better and make better videos in the future. You gotta start somewhere, and practice makes perfect. And it's going to take some experience and for me getting used to, especially talking to a camera and talking to the lens, not the viewfinder. But I'm also super excited about this one, but it is going to wait until October. I don't want to like kind of overdo the spooky vibe before we even get to spooky season. So this is going to be I think this is going to be a fun week. I think this is going to be, I do think these are going to be, it's going to be a fun week anyway. So I hope you enjoy the new camera setup. And that's it. She's run into this place too many times. Hold on. Come here, baby. Did not properly introduce her in the last vlog. This is Luna. She's a brat and she does not like to be held. So if you hear scurrying in the background, it's this girl. Alright, you want down. I know she made a couple of appearances in my last vlog. So I will check up on you guys probably tomorrow because it's closer to 8 o'clock. I don't know if I'm actually going to vlog tonight or not. I kind of snuck up on my fiance with using his camera, so it actually needs to charge. But see you guys soon, and hopefully we can get these books read, at least 2 of these books read. miserably this week on my TBR. Let me tell you why. I did not touch my library books this week. I don't know what happened. I always come back from work exhausted. I did finish Gravity Falls, but that's not a book, so that doesn't count. As for Return of the King, I'm not very far. I am on page 796, and if this was a full volume, that'd be a little more impressive. So I'm still at the beginning of The Return of the King. I'm on chapter 4, The Siege of Gondor. I tried to listen to this week. I did, but I'm not very far in it at all. At this point, Pippin is in Gondor with Gandalf, and that's about where I'm at. So, I failed miserably on my TBR this week. I do have a book haul, because I went to Barnes & Noble today, because I have their rewards program. I got $5 off. So I finally bought 5 Survive, and I really should have bought it earlier, because it was really annoying, that sticker. Like, after I finished Gravity Falls and after Summerween last week, I am jonesing for another thriller. So I think I'm actually going to start this one this week, if not today. I've been dying for a new thriller. So I might vlog that a little bit this weekend. I don't know. It might end up in another video and not this one, because this one was just a dud. And I finally also got a copy of If We Were Villains. I've heard from Katie is Reading, and I think Plant-Based Bride, that this is a really good book, and I want to give it a try. I think this is the one where they talk in Shakespeare a lot, so that should be a fun read for me. And I'll probably save it for later. But that's what I did today. I haven't read anything. I slept, I was tired. I went to the mall. I got me coffee from Caribou. It's now watered down. I think instead what I'm going to do is a small book tour. A bookshelf tour, I guess, but I only have one bookshelf, so it shouldn't be too long of one. I don't know how many books I have. I have one bookcase that's overflowing right now. I have several back home in a storage unit, in a different state. But right now, I also have some like on this lamp over here that I'm using as a bedside table. So I think I'm gonna start there. That'll just be the end of this vlog. Plus, I did go to the rodeo this week. Never been to a rodeo, so I may add that in. Should be fun. So here's a quick book tour, and then I guess I'll give an outro, because this was a fail this week. I'm gonna start with this. This one is just this is just my bedside, basically. I don't have a lot of room left on my bookshelf, so these are sitting here. These are obviously my 2 library book reads that I have not touched yet. I am very slowly reading The Body Keeps the Score and annotating it. I'm only on chapter 2. I'm not very far. But I think this was actually recommended to me by my therapist. I've got some trauma that I need to heal from, and that's why I'm reading this. Dracula is here because I was thinking about having it for Summerween. I started this last year in September, in October for a spooky week, and I never finished it. I'm not even halfway through it. So I've not given up on this book, I just haven't finished it yet. And Orca is here because there's simply no more room on my bookshelf, and I just bought this one recently. I have the audiobook version, so I have read this book before, but I do want to reread it at some point and annotate it, and that's why it's kind of here. So that is my bedside table pile of books. So this top part of my shelf is not even my shelf. It's actually on top of the bookcase, where I have a couple books. They just don't fit on the shelf. Like, I have Dungeons and Drama on this one, which I read already, and it was cute. I have a Christmas book here, Along Came Holly, that I only got halfway through before the end of the Christmas season. I think this one is going to be one of my next reads. I've had it for forever and haven't even touched it yet, but I'm excited to read this one. You can hear scratching. Luna's trying to get into an Amazon box. And I have another text message. And I keep forgetting I have this one. I read The Lost Apothecary and enjoyed it enough that I'm kind of interested in this one. So, and I keep forgetting I have it, but I didn't think it fit Summerween that well because it takes place in February. I need to actually read this one. I think I gave The Lost Apothecary 3 stars. And then 2 books. These 2 are not mine. Those are my fiance's. And then some National Geographics and a magazine about Reba McEntire that I still have not read yet. And then the rest of my little pocket-sized Lord of the Rings collection. So this top shelf is actually my religion and science section because I have 2 Bibles right here. And I have a couple books. I still need to read this one by C.S. Lewis, Christianity. I haven't read this one yet, but I've heard it's really good. And I started 7 Days That Divide the World by John C. Lennox. This was actually a gift for a senior seminar in college. So I went to a Christian college just to clear that up. And then my little science section, which is just, a couple science books. This one I got on an internship in college. It's Wicked Plants. I loved this book. It's actually about like poisonous plants and stuff. Oh, and an accidental perfect press. Yes, I still have this in here. It was like a poppy or something. I have my guidebooks, and here's one that's also on the shelf right next to my religious books, is Charles Darwin's Origin of Species. I'm honest to goodness tired of people telling me what is in this book when they have never read this book. That's why I have it. I need to actually read it though. And then a little bit more into like the science stuff. I have The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. I love this book. I actually borrowed it from the library before I bought it. And now I want to reread it and annotate it. A Little Book of Mushrooms. So many books. I'm sorry, it's overflowing. Anxiety Sisters, Survival Guide, and then some history books. I'm not sure why these are in my history section because that is not a history book. Song of the Sparrow I've had since like the 5th grade, and then To Kill a Mockingbird's also in here, but those aren't nonfiction. The Republic of Pirates, I'm obsessed with pirates, can you tell? And a couple of ghost stories of Minnesota and Haunted Lake Superior. One was Born to be Hanged. So I haven't read those yet. I like ghost stories, but mostly because there's a history to them that you don't get unless you're reading the ghost story, I feel like. So that is that shelf. Okay, this next bookshelf was supposed to originally be my romance books. Ignore our little Lego RV. That's an absolute mess. Some of these I really need to unhaul. I did not like Geekerella at all. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I don't think this book gets nearly the attention it deserves. I loved this book. And then next to it is the reason I don't listen to book talk when it comes to books. It is this one right here. I read The Love Hypothesis and I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. I was not impressed at all. If you like Ali Hazelwood, this is not a slam, like you're allowed to like Ali Hazelwood. I just did not care for this one. Also, I have this one on top, which I've had since I was probably 14. Here's a tassel. And this is meant to be, it's actually one of my comfort reads. I have 2 more Bibles up here because I ran out of room. Sunglasses from a bachelorette party. Don't mind my Minnesota stuff. And then a lot of Debbie Macomber, because I loved her books. She got me into romance, and then I got older and in a healthy relationship, and some of her books just make me mad now. I like these 2. I do like these 2. This one, someone gave to me, and I didn't like the first story very much because this guy was like helped this woman give birth to her child and then decided, you know, by the way, I'm going to be this child's like dad. Like, wait, what? And on the other side of W. Macomber is my only Shakespeare that I have in print because I'd rather watch Shakespeare than read it. Is my favorite Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing. I got it for like $2. So that is that shelf. This is really where you kind of see my bookcase is just super overstuffed. Like, this is another book I have not finished. It's For the Throne. It's the second in the Wilderwood duology. I don't know why. I needed a break from it. I just could not get through it because I had the first one and I finished it and I liked it. I think I gave it 5 stars. But I cannot get through the second one. Like, I don't know if I don't care or it's not bad. I just don't want to read it. I have this version of Edmund Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I have not read yet, and I'm waiting to read that one. Don't mind this copy of Winnie the Pooh. I actually got this at a charity shop for £1 in Scotland. So it's very hard for me to kind of get rid of this sweet little edition. So these are 2 books I need to read. I have read all of these. I highly recommend these. I don't see them a lot on Book Talk, but I started reading this one when I had an absolute obsession with pirates and historical pirates. This duology is so good. I have it. Here's my newest read, one of the ones I just bought. I have a duology and the spinoff. I know a lot of people have issues with these versions of these books because they don't like the new covers. I personally love the new covers. I love these and the sprayed edges of the hardback. I spent $75 in one go to get all of these matching because I had the paperbacks originally. Underneath all of that, I think this is supposed to be the fantasy. It's fantasy and then poetry, I think is what this was. We have Agatha Christie. I have The Lost Road and Other Writings by Tolkien. I just bought this one at a bookstore in Austin, Minnesota. So this is actually my brother's and I should probably give it back. I read this book in middle school. I think it was in the 8th grade. And I haven't reread it, but I remember liking it. I had an obsession with Beauty and the Beast as a kid. And then there's Classic Tales of Horror. This one I haven't actually read yet. And I almost got an Edgar Allan Poe book. No, this has pretty much got all the ones I want to read in it anyway. So I don't see the point in getting another one. But Classic Tales of Horror by Edgar Allan Poe. And then I have my poetry section, which is just... This one's probably the oldest I have. And I got it because I was a fan of cats as a kid. Don't judge me. But here's the original poetry book where cats came from. No joke. My mom had to order that one to get that one to me. I just do not have the room to put these books away. And my camera's dying. Sweet. So, yeah. I'm going to see if I can get this last one before my camera dies. This is basically Harry Potter, the Labyrinth adventure game that I've never played. This is a Harry Potter shelf and miscellaneous is basically what this is. I have 3 of the Twisted Disney books. I liked this one, but I got tired of the series after a while. And that's pretty much all that is. My one Doctor Who comic that I still haven't read. And this absolutely, beautiful copy of The Princess Bride. So, and then a beautiful copy of The Secret Garden because it was my favorite book growing up before I even touched the Harry Potter series. These were all a gift from an ex-boyfriend, which is weird. 1 through 6 were a gift from an ex-boyfriend, but they're the only copies I have now. This one I had since its release date. So, and that is my bookshelf, and my camera is going to die. We are getting text to go hang out with a friend, so I'm probably gonna do this outro later, especially since the camera is dying, and that's my bookshelf. I hope that was comprehensible. And the camera battery has got to charge. So that is it for now. I guess I'll see y'all later after we're done hanging out with friends. Hello. Don't mind if my shirt starts to kind of clump up. It's an old one of Zach's that I stole from him, and if you're wondering, this week has been a bit of a challenge reading wise. Just have not really been reading this week. Please ignore my cat. Daddy's playing with a piece of string on the other side of the door. When I mean Zach. Anyway, so as for my reading TBR, I touched neither of these this week, which is not good because they're both due next week, so I might want to get on those. I did get a little farther into The Return of the King. I'm now on chapter 8 of book 5, which is the House of Healing, so it's right after that really big battle. Sorry, that SD card filled up. There's like 1,800 pictures on that SD card. Sorry. Anyway, I'm on page 847 of Return of the King, which isn't actually all that far into it. So this book technically starts on page 731, and I'm on page 847. So 100 pages, a little less in. Are you seriously laying on my library books? Really? Really? Anyway, so I've made some progress. I'm still on book 5, and I've been listening to it more at work than really physically reading it. I basically got to the Battle of Gondor, and they're healing after that. I haven't seen Sam or Frodo in this book yet, so it's a little sad for me because Sam is my favorite. I finished no books this week, but I bought 3. And all of them are thriller mystery. Ugh. So I think I will be saving these 2 specifically for around late August, September. I don't want to ruin them for me by like ruin those for me by reading like a bunch of them and then suddenly being like tired of them. You know what I mean? I don't want to tire myself off of them. So I think I'm going to save these for later this year, but I definitely want to read them this year. This one, however, because I am jonesing for another good thriller, because apparently I'm obsessed with these now, I do think I'm going to read 5 Survive next week, along with listening to The Return of the King still on Audible. I have like 12 hours of that one left. And then maybe, just maybe, I will get to these 2 before they are due at the library. That would be pretty much my wrap up. I assume you can understand why my backdrop for right now is the bedroom with nothing on the walls except for a really bad painting I did. But my bookshelf is also just overflowing. I have the one bookcase and a tiny apartment. It's in the corner of the living room. That's why my backdrop is this. A little weird, I know. But that's why that is, as you could tell by my bookshelf tour that I ended up doing, because I didn't finish any books this week. Yes, my upload schedule is still going to be a little bit sporadic. This is only my second video, so they're going to just be a little bit all over the place for right now. And since my fiance and I are getting married in less than 5 weeks, if my schedule is a little sporadic, that is also why. Because I'm stressed about that part. This is probably not the best time to start this, but if I don't start this for summer reading, I probably never will. So this was worth, I guess, a little bit more stress. So yes, I'm still going to be a little sporadic with posting for now until I get a schedule set and hopefully get through the wedding. So there's my update. It's just Return of the King, and I'm not even on book 6 yet. So I'm actually, to be fair, a pretty good chunk. It's not like halfway or anything, but I think I'm a pretty good chunk in considering. So that's it from me. like, subscribe. I feel so awkward asking to do that, but like and subscribe if you like this. So thank you to my 2 subscribers that I have had for the past 2 weeks. I appreciate it. Any support will work. But for now, that's it. Thank you for listening, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.